My grandmother, Barbara, died when my dad was 14 years old after a long, long struggle with breast cancer. This was in 1984. I never met her, nor do I really know anything about her. I understand that grief is messy, and for my father, that messiness has meant silence. So I decided to talk to him about his story and his journey through grief, along with his siblings and father.
Hello?
Hi, Deedle.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's going on?
All right. Can you just talk about your mom?
What I know about my mom, what I remember about my mom, is that she was really, really smart, and she was really, really tough. She had a very difficult childhood. Her father kind of abandoned the family when she was really young, and her mother had a lot of mental health troubles at a time before people knew how to deal with mental health troubles, and in fact was institutionalized when my mom was a teenager, and my mom ended up having to really kind of raise her younger brother because nobody was around, and she went to school but also had a job, and she was just very tough and very just very savvy about how to go through life. She could also be really, really funny. I had a great relationship with her. My mom found me funny even at a young age, and we would talk a long time. And even when she was sick, a lot of times she just wanted to talk to me because it made her laugh.
Do you have any specific memories with her?
I have quite a few. I have very specific memories. We used to go down to Squaw Rock, where you've been, a lot as a family, and we would just kind of hang out down there and play around a lot. I have specific memories of my mom coming to my class when I was in, I'm going to say the second grade. She kind of served as like the class mom, and she would come and help out with a lot of projects, and I always enjoyed that. I have a lot of memories, sadly, of when she was sick. I had to help her with her medications a lot. She would be in a lot of pain, and it was really difficult to kind of watch those really hard memories form, but that was definitely a part of it. I will say, though, it's been over 40 years since she died, and one of the hard things about losing somebody when you're that young is that the memories do fade a little bit.
When did you learn about her diagnosis?
I was in sixth grade, and I had just finished writing a very long, sort of report about cancer. And then I learned that she had developed a lump or a cyst, and I recognized that was a sign of cancer. And I said, well, is that what this is? And she told me yes. I think I knew that at that day and age, getting a breast cancer diagnosis was really, really scary. Today their survival rates are pretty high, but then they really weren't. But my mom, who, again, was really, really tough and strong, kind of exuded strength. She believes she's going to be okay. So who am I to disagree with that? She would go through many different kinds of treatments. She did radiation. She had surgeries. She went through chemo. And there's at least a couple of times I can remember where we were basically told she was cured and that everything was going to be fine and she was going to do great. And then it would come back and it would be just as strong or stronger. These therapies and the surgeries got more invasive, and you could start to see the physical signs of the toll it was taking on her body. And it became clear, I would say probably about a year to a year and a half in, that it was really bad. And like I said, we would have to give her medications. A lot of it were pain medications. You're usually the one who's being taken care of, and now you're sort of being thrust in this role where you have to participate in the caretaking. This was something that sort of marked me as different than anybody else I knew. And so there was a little part of me as a young kid who was kind of figuring himself out. It was a little bit, I hate to say it, but I was almost embarrassed.
I guess immediately following her death, how was your family life impacted?
that just brought us closer together. I would say that that's true. I think you learn in life that there aren't very many people who know what you know and who experience what you experienced. And, siblings are usually about it. And so I think you become very drawn to one another in a situation where you're dealing with something that's pretty traumatic.
And what about your relationship with your dad after her death?
Despite his best intentions, he was a very more traditional, old-style father. And it wasn't that he didn't care, and it wasn't that he wasn't available, but I think that he was away trying to figure out how to handle the situation a bit. So, again, it didn't create a bad relationship, but it was kind of everybody was trying to figure out their own way through everything. And that included him, and it forced us to become maybe a little bit more independent than kids typically were at that age. And I have never blamed him for anything.
There is always a chance that you or one of your siblings could have gone down a bad path. How did you guys avoid that?
The idea that one or more of us could have gone down a bad path is something we talk about a lot. Like it could have been very easy to slide into some very bad things. And the fact that none of us did probably is a testament to my parents, and in particular my mom, and probably a testament to looking out for one another.
What kind of values did your mom instill in you at a young age?
Well, again, my mother was super smart, and she really stressed education. And I think she thought that the three of us were smart. And so she pushed on us the need to work really hard in school, and she pushed on us the need to really live up to our potential in that area.
How about when you were considering going to an all-boys private school in the area?
My mom basically said, I don't believe in that sort of elitist way of doing education. That's not who I want my kids to be. I want them to be people who are good people, who are, who don't think they're better than other people. You probably recognize how that's influenced me over life.
How do you feel about the potential of passing this down to us after what you went through with your mom?
I will tell you, when I found out that I had it, it was probably one of my lowest moments, because I really, really felt like a sense of guilt that I could pass it on to you guys, and you in particular. It's really a difficult thing to talk about, because it would break my heart if this is something that carries on to you or beyond you. When my mom got diagnosed 40-some years ago, it really was a death sentence, whether they called it that or not. I don't think that that's nearly true anymore. I know a ton of people who survived it, as you probably do as well, but it's not an experience that I want you to have.
That aren't typically expected of dads. He's my emotional support. He's the logic I need in my life, and he makes sure I make good decisions. We agree on pretty much everything, philosophically, music-wise, sports. We both love the Cavs, and I'm so thankful he agreed to talk to me about this.